Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Jan Dyer. Tonight we are going to have a meatless meal. It's Monday, and this is Meatless Monday for us. We did this all last year, and I signed up for the meatless recipes that came out I think they came out on Saturday, so you could be ready for your Meatless Monday. It was really kind of neat to see all the different things that I never would have thought of as a meal, but they were so delicious and so filling. So this is one of the ones that we had, and it is called Best Stuffed Shells. Our stuffing is going to be spinach, and let me show you these little shells. They're just jumbo shells. You know, you get them anywhere. Big old things like this, that's going to be what's going to hold all of our delicious, yummy things. And let me tell you what they are. Spinach. This is the spinach that we're going to use, and believe it or not, this was 2 boxes of frozen spinach. Now, I could have opted to blanch spinach and then cool it and then, you know, do it that way, or go the frozen route. So much simpler, so much time saver for me too. I just let it thaw out, squeezed out as much of the moisture as you could, so we have that ready. So I have gone ahead and cooked our shells because you want them to be cool enough to handle. You're going to hold them while you stuff them. And I've got my food processor out to make our stuffing. So that's going to make it super simple. You have a marinara sauce that you use, but what I'm doing is, when we made our spaghetti sauce together the other day, I made extra and froze it. This is some of my frozen spaghetti sauce. So that's what we're using, and it's going to be delicious. So everything's going in the food processor. I think I have it all right here. So let's just get started and make this delicious stuffed shell. Calls for 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. These are smaller cloves, so I think there are 8 in here. Can never have too much garlic. I truthfully don't think I've ever tasted anything and thought, oh, that's too much garlic. Okay, I just have to do this until the sides get kind of covered with the spinach, the garlic. So let's get that going. How nice that we don't have to chop it all up. See how it's sticking to the sides? That's exactly what we want it to do. Because now we're going to take our thawed spinach that we have squeezed out a lot, if not all, of the moisture, because you don't want to have a ton of moisture in these shells. Let me get that little shell back out of the way. Let me see. Okay. All we've got in here now is the garlic and the spinach. Look how that's just mixing all up. Listen, truthfully, I've had this for a long time. I really don't remember when I got it, but I use it for lots of different things. I used it to chop up my cheese earlier. Okay, that's just the spinach and the garlic. So let me look real quick and see what all we need, what order we need to go. Okay, we've got our greens in here. Next, we're going with ricotta cheese, so you know it's going to be good. 15-ounce package of ricotta cheese, and it just goes right in here as well. You could also use a cottage cheese, which I kind of thought about that, because sometimes even in my lasagna, I'll opt for cottage cheese instead of ricotta cheese. But we're going to make it with this, and we're going to see how it goes. And let's go ahead and blend that. You know, we could dump all of this and then blend it. I just kind of like doing it as we go. That way I don't have to worry that something didn't get incorporated. That looks like that's really well mixed right now too. So now we're ready to start adding some cheeses. This is our mozzarella. We are going to just add half of this because half of it we're going to reserve for the top. So that's going to be good. Let me set that over there. That's done for now. After we put in the ricotta, we've also going to add half a cup of parm. So you can tell this is going to be delicious. We're going to put some black pepper, and it even says 10 rounds of black pepper. More if you want, less if you don't. So that looks delicious. We also have, it called for a 1/4 cup of green onion or chive. I had both, so I just added it all together and did 1/2 cup of mix. All right, let me mix this all up because this is going to be our filling. We'll know when it's ready because those onions and different things that are on the top, they've got to get down. Let me kind of push this around. I might have filled it just a little too full, but no, it's getting down in there. Can y'all? Well, this smells good too. All we have to do is make sure it gets well mixed. It calls for 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flake. So I bought some fresh red pepper flake today because, you know, for one, mine looks kind of brown. The date wasn't bad on it, but I just thought maybe fresh would be better. Sorry, I know that's loud. Let's let it get mixed up. It pulls from the middle. We're going to add an egg. That'll be the last thing we need to get this all bound up good together. And that'll also be a little bit of our binder. Okay, one more try, I promise, and then we'll be ready to start putting our shells together. That loosened it all up for us. All right, we've got this all mixed up. I'm going to take this apart, shift things around just a little bit, and we will be stuffing our shells. So give me just a second. Okay, everything's reset. We are ready to stuff some shells. Preheat your oven to 375. Our shells, like I told you when we first started, they were cooked some time ago and they've cooled off. The thing to remember when you're going to let them set, put some olive oil on them, because if you don't, they're going to stick together and it will be horrible. Okay, we're going to put our sauce in the bottom, your store-bought marinara, your delicious Jan's sauce, whatever you have. That's why having this in the freezer was so nice. I didn't even have to think about it. Cover the bottom pretty good. That's just going to give us a good base for our shells. Okay, you take them. It's going to take about a tablespoon or a tablespoon and a half to stuff the shell. I just like wearing gloves. That way I'm not worried about someone, you know, with an issue on cleanliness eating my food. Okay, we're just going to set that right here. Go on our way. I do not think it's going to take all of these. If you come across, no, that one worked. If you come across one that's stuck and you can't get it out, just go on to the next shell. Don't those look good? And we're going to buddy them up pretty tight. And we're going to fill this up, top it with cheese. It's going to go in the oven for 30 minutes. At that time when we come back, I'll show it to you and I'll give you the recipe. So let me finish filling this up, get it in the oven, and we'll see you back here in about 35 minutes. Welcome back to Meatless Monday. This smells delicious. Oh my gosh, it is. Looks fabulous. I don't think we'll miss the meat at all. Doesn't it look wonderful? Okay, let me go over the recipe for you. All we're going to have with this are some garlic breadsticks and maybe a little salad. That's all we need. All right, best stuffed shells. I have this printed out long form just because there were several steps, but they were not hard. And truthfully, let me tell you, while this was cooking, I had enough stuff, I had gotten enough stuff that I actually made another one to go in the freezer. We started with a pound of spinach. You can use the fresh. I used frozen. That's just 2 boxes. And set that out, let it thaw, and then just squeeze all the juice out of it, all the liquid. We did 1 box of the shells, the large jumbo shells, cook those just a little bit shy of when they're going to be ready. I think it said that it needed to cook 14 to 16 minutes. I cooked it for 10. That way they weren't just fall apart tender. When you drain them, put some olive oil in them to make sure they'll separate real easily. Then all you have left to do is make the stuffing for the shells. That was the spinach. When we got our food processor out, I had several things ready. And that just makes it easier for y'all if you go through your recipe, have all your stuff sitting there. I do it so that you're not waiting on me to get everything ready. But truthfully, I'm so much further ahead when I do that any night of the week when I'm trying to get my dinner ready. Have my onions chopped or have my garlic ready. Whatever you can do ahead of time so that you can just dump and chop. You are so far ahead. Okay, we've got our food processor. In that we put our garlic. We also put 15 ounces of ricotta cheese. The second one that I made to freeze, I used my cottage cheese, so we'll see what the difference is. Then in the food processor, we just pulse that all around, put the spinach in, the cheeses, and I will try to post this so that you'll know what order they go in. But your Parmesan is the only cheese that goes in because the mozzarella goes on top. So you put the ricotta in, the Parmesan cheese, the chives or green onions, whichever you have, black pepper, red pepper flake, and salt. And I will put on there how much it calls for because, see, this makes enough for a family. So, but we'll put the measurements on there for you. Put this in the dish. You just put a little bit of your sauce under it, whatever sauce you've got. If you want to use a jarred marinara, we had our already made pasta sauce. Half of that in the bottom. That was at 2 cups. Half of it in the bottom. We stuffed our shells, the other half on top. Topped it with the mozzarella and a little Parmesan. In the oven for 35 minutes with foil, 375. After that 30 minutes, I took the top off, I took the foil off, and let it cook for an additional 5 minutes. I will confirm that. But yes, for 30 minutes, then you take the foil off 5 more minutes. Anyway, delicious. Best stuffed shells, spinach, cheese, marinara, little pasta. What could be wrong with that? Just a little salad and bread on the side, and you've got a delicious meatless meal for any day of the week. I hope you try it. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you real soon.